Good morning and welcome to today's live stream. Today we are opening up in the risky area. Will we bounce from this area? That's really where things like that can happen, is in this area. We'll see if we're able to make some kind of basing out structure or if we're just going to see some buyers step in, but this will be enough to get that 2 hour down by that center line and curl up into positive territory, right? So this is the pullback area where we're first paying attention. If this is going to escalate, we're going to get past this area and probably end up down in this gray zone. Just so you're aware, for the morning, we do have the daily expected moves for the SPY up for you here. 596.28 to the upside, 590.42 to the downside. So the little zone we're paying attention to is right in here. This is where the options market would say, hey, we are very likely to bounce from this area. So let's pay attention to that. All right, and if you want the daily expected moves for every stock that we cover in our YouTube videos and some more, right? We still get Palantir, GLD, we get Microsoft, Google, we go over those sometimes. But if you want that's down in the description for Patreon. Patreon is down there in the description. You can get those daily expected moves for every single Friday. It's just $7 a month. That's just a cup of coffee a month, and you can get those daily expected moves, weekly expected moves, and monthly expected moves, which we are up towards it. So it is very good to understand how to trade around these monthly expected moves. And we're going to look out for that for you on this channel, pretty much just using everything that we talk about in the course to figure out if this is going to drop. Everything that we used for NVIDIA to catch this drop can now start to happen if we're going to make that move higher. Now, NVIDIA is holding up pretty well. The Qs here, we can see that the daily expected moves for the Qs a little bit more dramatic, right? A little bit more dramatic. So we're seeing something a little bit more risky here. So pay attention. This does not have to bounce from this level. This is just our first really big support that we want to pay attention to. If you want to head lower, there is a big gray zone down here for the Qs as well that we might be able to draw up maybe I'll draw it up today. We'll see if I can look at it. But the daily expected moves for the Qs, 511.89 to the upside, 505.49 to the downside, and we are outside of that. So we have a 68% chance to land back in there by the end of the day. And this is a pretty good breakdown. We'll see if this gets people nice and bearish, because that's what I think they want. I think they want people to get bearish, and until they get bearish, they're going to keep dropping this thing and then see if that thing can whip back up. But no reversal signals, no big reversal signals. So if we do end up turning down dramatically here, right, we take out these levels, there would be no real good signal to tell you that. How you know if you're going to see something uglier is if we just flip back around this weekly, right? If we flip it up, we flip it back down, that's when we start to say, okay, this could touch the bottom of our channel. This could break that channel. So that's what we'll pay attention to going forward. Not necessarily leaning towards that. A lot of the time in these squeeze moves, you're going to see stuff like this, see some profit taking, because people probably bought too many calls in here. So daily expected moves over on Patreon and IWM. Very interesting that this is outside of the weekly expected move. You're noticing it's not selling off more. SPY and the Qs are selling off more. IWM is not. IWM does have a good chance to bounce from this level, so we'll pay attention to that. We can notice that the DIA, aka the Dow Jones, does have some room down. Okay, so it does have some room down. We have daily expected moves for you. I might actually go check on that real quick. We are pretty much at that daily expected move, but if you want the exact level, got to join the Patreon. We noticed that volatility trying to get some kind of pop here, right? This is the only bearish signal we really have. I mean, like, as far as the indices goes, as far as the SPY goes, this is the only bearish signal we have. It says, hey, we could be in that corrective mode right now because of that 2 hour divergence, but usually you do see it at the same time for the SPY. So it's very interesting not to see it at the same time for the SPY. It could mean that this is just some kind of pullback that is going to end up going higher, and then we actually see more of a divergence form around 12.12. That is something I'm leaning towards at this point before we see that corrective move, but we'll see what happens throughout the day. All right, let's talk about yields getting a reaction up. Gotta be cautious with yields, gotta be cautious with TLT. If this thing crosses down on the daily chart, that is not gonna be a good sign. You have not gotten the confirmation on the 2 hours, so this can go lower, and the fact that these yields are going higher is something that needs a reaction, so maybe we're seeing that now, who knows. We'll have to pay attention to some things going on next week. We'll cover that maybe over the weekend, but for now, we just wanna see the Qs have already cut there, so when do you want to pay attention to the Qs, right? If they're below their line, well, then you can see when the SPY is tagging its line, where are the Qs at, and is that the level that it's going to bounce from? So we got a lot to look into today. I still think we have a good shot to see that 2-hour push higher if we can build back up today. If we can't build back up today, this is an important day, right? This is an important day. If you start to cut below this, you get some more, right? You're already crossing over on that 4-hour on the Qs, but now you can cross over for the SPY. So I think you really want to hold up in the first, morning of the day. I think you need to hold up in the morning here. Very key level, very great. And I'm glad we're opening up at it because now it's going to be important very early on in the day and we have a lot of time to build back up. Doesn't mean we can't make some little 5-minute divergences in order to get that weakness and momentum. One thing I wanted to point out was gold. Gold actually still hovering around these levels, not able to curl up on a 2-hour. We see a bunch of little divergences all across this. We see them very clear here on the 30-minute. You're seeing these divergences form. They're just not seeing that reaction yet. Now, there is a little stat when gold does come down like this that some central banks do like to buy gold with this percentage of a drop. We'll see if that happens again here. That doesn't have to be some kind of rocket. It could just be a reaction back up to 241.04, which would react up to that 5-day moving average. So that's just a little thing for gold there. And actually, let's check futures for gold because futures were pretty clear yesterday. Okay, so futures, as long as this 2-hour remains curled up, hey, you have a chance. You have a chance to curl up the daily scale, actually. That daily actually relatively positive. I wonder if we go into a slight uptrend. I'm still looking for that tag, at least on GLD. Looking for that tag of something like 241.04, seeing if we can gain that back. If we can gain that back, I like it. Let's go back over to the SPY. I think we're mainly going to focus on the SPY today, guys. I know we don't normally do click around a lot. I like when you guys bring up some stocks for me to look at. If you really want me to look at something, like just keep mentioning it or, do what you got to do to try to get me to look at it. But it overall is just looking at the downside here. This is going to be very important in the morning, so we need to really focus on that. And I'll have other stuff on other charts too, or on my other screen. Looks like NVIDIA going down to fill the gap this morning. Let's go check over on NVIDIA this morning. We noticed that is coming down to fill this gap. Awesome. Now we got to see, is it going to come all the way down and fill another gap? Do we need more of a pullback here? A lot of traders talking about this, saying, man, this thing is a beast. It is holding up. And they are correct in saying that. And maybe we just fill that gap when we turn up, right? The SPY and the Qs heading down towards their weekly expected move outside of their daily expected moves. And the Qs are outside of its weekly expected move. But if we want to dip down for a little bit longer, then curl up into positive territory, that's fine. All you need to know is this 2-hour is still positive, still positive, still positive. When you get worried for downside is when this daily crosses, which could happen today, right? It's very close. So you got to be paying attention if that ends. That's why today is going to be very important. We do have earnings around the corner. We'll see what happens with that going forward. I'm going to take a short little break here. I got the old man whining at me, so I'm going to go let him outside real quick, and then I'll be right back, and I'll get to the chat. So good morning. Good chance to like the video. Thank you guys so much for liking these videos. Really appreciate it, and thank you for subscribing. We will see if we're going to catch a bounce here this morning. Be right back. Man, is everyone here just like... Is everyone choosing violence today? What the heck? Why the heck? We got baby girl screaming. We got old man whining like crazy. I mean, I know it's Friday and we're all excited, but my goodness. IWM has the daily gap. You're talking about this. That's very unlikely to just shoot down to unless we get some very bad news or something random. That's very unlikely. Yes, you have the signal to reverse the trend. Remember this too, by the way. Isn't this great? Remember when we mentioned IWM and DIA have the reversal in trend? How does that look? That looks like a fantastic trade. That is great. Now you're down in an area where you're probably starting to set up little 5-minute things in here. You got 5-minute divergence. Look at that. You got 5-minute divergence. And if that produces to the upside, we get a little good news behind it. Boom. You got boom. And that can curl up your 30-minute. So there you go. 30-minute can curl up from that. We'll see though, right? We got to see if that's actually going to produce. But this would say 68% chance to bounce. And IWM levels are over on Patreon. You want those daily expected moves? Actually, I might check where that's at. I might do a little thing here. Oh, dang it. Sorry, guys. Hold on one second. My other PC has this up. Give me 2 seconds. All right, there we go. Sorry, my other PC has it up as well. And it doesn't like me to have it up at the same time because I have it on 1, 2, and 3. So 2 computers and 3 screens. So idiot dropping off. I'm in a great mood today. Let's go, Jackal. That's good. Not pretty good, and then everyone starts like crying everywhere. It's like insane. Just the part of having a baby. Part of having a baby. You know what I mean? I'm here. Are we a godforsaken puts today? Well, you're right in the area where you can bounce. Now, the thing that's different from IWM, to the SPY is, do you have 5-minute divergences down here that like look fantastic? You kind of did at the end of the day, but they never confirmed. And the other part is now you're getting rid of those most likely this morning. Unless this just wicks up in 5 minutes. The Qs, do you have it down here? Well, you would say, hey, we might have been creating them, right? Look at that RSI in the 5-minute and then blop. So that is totally going to get rid of those. But you're still holding them on IWM, right? IWM is the one that looks like, hey, this is one that can really say, I'm going to end in that zone. If IWM is going to end in that zone, what do you think? Is the SPY and the Q is going to end in that zone? Interesting. Now the other one would be DIA, right? DIA, that one's dropping off. That had the divergences and that's dropping off. So it looks like small caps are really the only ones getting a lot of love right now. Like at least holding up better. Oh no, home was strep today. I'm sorry about that. That sucks. I hope she gets better. Yeah. That's one of my weird things when I was a kid. I got strep throat like 6 times in a year, and they're like, if he gets it one more time, we're taking his tonsils out. And then I never got strep throat again. And then part of me thinks like, my parents tell me that, and part of me thinks like, did I have strep throat? But they took me to the doctor every time. And I had strep throat every time. I got tested for it. So I was like, my body was just like, no more of that. I don't want to get my tonsils out. I feel like this is like too zoomed in over here. I think this is too zoomed in. There we go. I want you to be able to see more of the chart here and maybe shrink this down a little bit. My brother actually contacted me. He wants to, he was watching my channel. He's like, what if I made an indicator with all your stuff on it and they could like plug in weekly ranges and things like that? And I was like, oh, that'd be sick. That'd be sick. All right, but keeping our eye on the SPY early on this morning, no real basing out signals. I think we're going to check in on IWM a few times, but we'll have to see if this is more than just a pullback. Then we're going to see some bigger timeframes curl over. We're going to see NVIDIA curl over on this daily. So AKA, this needs to hold up because this probably is crossing over the daily. You see how that's crossing? So NVIDIA has to hold up here. Because if NVIDIA crosses down, it's saying like, hey, we can pull back to the 20, we can pull back to fill this gap next week, and that would be fine, right? That would be fine. But you're always worried in these type of moves, right? If you start to lose this trend line, what's going to happen? And notice this, yesterday we were talking about trend lines. Notice we find what? 3 points. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. So if we lose that, it's not going to be pretty. Let's clean this up and just use the near-term stuff. We already knew there was that big triangle forming there. Hello, Dr. Bullpup. Hello, Bowdy. Well, I hope your daughter gets better, though, Jackal. So we'll watch this. If that crosses by today, that means, hey, we could see a pullback going into earnings. Just a couple of days there. Then we have to see what happens with earnings, right? I think you know, it would be interesting to see some price action before earnings. I kind of thought we would just keep going sideways and then see what happens with earnings. Earnings is 50-50 flip. Good morning, Christina. How you doing? Christina, what kind of photography do you do? 2 hour going to be the most important thing. I know that might be a little bit boring. So we're going to look at a 5 minute and just see if that can go positive today. Right? We're going to watch this real close. See if we make any reversal signals. You've gotten rid of any kind of divergence you were forming here. You got rid of it. That is why confirmation is very important. All right. Even on a 5 minute, confirmation is very important. This is what can turn up little 30 minutes and things like that. 5 minute triple divergence, 15 minute divergence likes to turn up 30 minute charts. We react down, move sideways. That 5's catching up. We're in the key zone right now. Family, kids, and Santa. That's awesome. I think we're scheduled to go see Santa for the first time for Ari. AMD was one that was showing some good reversal signals in here. Just a reminder, this did not confirm. We said that multiple times yesterday. Wait for confirmation. It will be fine because this is saying you're about to go into an uptrend. So if you're going to end up all the way up here, then what's the benefit of taking this right here? Why don't you just wait and see that reversal first? You're not trying to catch a bottom, you're trying to catch the reversal. This is risky, this is less risky. All right? Very important to wait for those confirmations. We say it multiple times throughout the course, the technical analysis course, the using indicators course, everything you need to really become a knowledgeable trader to make good decisions is in that course, and one of them is confirmations. Now, if you want to dig into this and you want to go, okay, let me look for a 30 minute to try to get a great position, awesome. Do you have that? Do you really have like great divergences down here? No, they're very, very flat. Very flat, very wonky. You want this to be, and then go up and you'd go, okay, that's a good divergence. Now I can take a shot with it, watch if that 2 hour curls up, but this is just dropping down. Remember that AMD was the one that said bad things are going to happen. AMD is one that you don't want to mess around with too much. You need to see great reversal signals in this because this is divergence. This is pulling down on a monthly scale. So be freaking cautious with AMD. That's why I said early on in the week, I was like, I ain't touching AMD. I was like, it's been wonky for a long time. We found some little moves in there. That's fine. But until I see great signals, and I do think this is a great one, but we're violating it right now. So if we don't hold up today, if we don't see that wick up and then cross, then there's no trade to be had here. We are heading down. I think we have a daily expected move for this. What the heck was that? Some pop-up. NVIDIA dropping down pretty significantly here. I wonder if that's already at a daily. Yep, okay. All right, so just everything, pretty much the market is telling you that almost, hiccup. Almost everything is down at a weekly or a daily expected move. with this drop. So this could mean, hey, we're going to head down into this zone. That would be interesting. I'm down with that. I'm down for it. The deeper the pullback, the better the room for the upside. And then if it escalates, we're going to be aware of that. NVIDIA down 2.2%. Not my best trend line drawing in the world. All right, so let's see. Are we going to make some kind of little 5-minute divergence in here while the day progresses, the morning? Because you don't have anything in here that says that's going to reverse around. You did originally, but that's why you don't take a little 5 minutes, right? We need to see solid divergences on a 30-minute to even look at a 5-minute, but we're just going to look at it for fun here. We are dropping off, and the volatility is actually not popping as much as you would expect. You would expect a little bit more than this. It does say the daily scale can turn up, so you have to be aware of a bigger drop. We do have that gray zone below us. I'm really leaning towards us wicking up and this being some kind of trap. Who else? My wife finished one of the emotes for when we do have a supporters so that you guys can emote all over the place. She's an artist, so she made a nice bowl for us. Now she's working on the bear. Very interesting. We'll see if that continues to pop. And dollar dropping off, well, actually looking like a topping out bar here. We'll see if that ends up dropping off. Maybe we do get the further pullback. Interesting. People kind of towards the put side just a little bit. Still sitting in the middle for the PCC. IWM, is it getting rid of these little divergences? It hasn't confirmed on the 5-minute. Hasn't confirmed up on the 30-minute because of that 5-minute divergence either. So this can just continue to drop off. Look at the daily scale. If that crosses, that's when we're a little bit more worried for a bigger pullback, maybe down to 223.08. I like that level. Or the SPY, the level I actually probably really like. Let me see here. I mean, I know people are going to be leaning towards the gap fill, but I just like the liquidity zone. I'm going to get rid of this. That level was important, but I just want to pay attention to the zone. All right, 5-minute for the SPY. Do we see this end back in our red lines by the end of the day? Who votes yes? Who votes that we're at least going to end right here by the end of the day? Winning, my friend. Thank you, Free Indeed. Appreciate you. You're a perma-bear. I am not a perma-bear. I'm talking about a pullback right now. I'm giving you the awareness of when this would be more than a pullback. I am currently sitting on my hands waiting for the uptrend to continue. That is the opposite of bearish. I'm just being aware if this is going to pull further down into a liquidity zone. But this is the support area I want right now. So I'm looking for any kind of thing in here. mRNA, Moderna. Let's go check on that real quick. Thank you so much for the $2 there. Got to spread this out, right? We're just looking at a 5-minute for fun. Moderna just dropping, right? So you want to see this, right? It's kind of hard to do a 30-minute for this one. So you want to just start to spread that out, see what you see. 2-hour, very, very deep, trying to form some kind of thing here, but very, very tight, so not the best look. And the daily scale dropping down, right? No divergences in sight. So Moderna looking awful. There is nothing here that tells me that this thing is like good for a long period of time. Even the weekly is going down and down and down. Now you're heading into areas where investment, right? Maybe investment would come in handy, but I'd really be seeing if that weekly can at least turn around. That way you get some kind of reaction. So Moderna does not look good. But if you're, if you're treating it from an investment standpoint, you're going, yeah, maybe it does. But just note, if Trump comes in and they actually do the thing where they kind of clamp down on, these pill popping companies or vaccines or anything like that, that can be rough. AMC and GME, not too bad, right? AMC, GME, not too bad. Okay. I thought they were curling up. They actually stopped curling that thing up. This was a great move up. Actually, GameStop had the better move up. Came outside of that move again. Another little fake out. Look how tight this is getting here. Watch out for GME. This is what you want to see. If it can hold up here, if it can maybe close outside of this, that can cause some problems for short sellers, for hedge funds. But we'll see if that's able to fall by the end of the day. One thing that I did notice was the last time a big move happened, you did see this kind of melt up, right? And then you were trying to cross down on that 2 hour, and then it just kind of gapped up the next time. So it's kind of this is interesting. If everything's positive, yeah, everything would lean towards positivity, but a pullback here for if you were treating this like a regular stock, not trying to get some kind of squeeze out of it, you would say a pullback would be a good thing to then head higher, right? A 2 hour pullback would be a great thing to head higher. Gold's positive, but not the best looking bar. Trying to cross up, but not the best looking bar. Nvidia starting to catch a little something outside of a daily expected move. Interesting there. And the SPY is the big dog we want to pay attention to today. Maybe we make some 5-minute signals down here before we bounce. GME weekly, baby. They come in extreme handy. They come in handy. Wouldn't it be nice to get another signal like this one? Oh, that would be nice. I thought there was too much risk in taking this one, unfortunately. Great gap up, though. Completely skipping the sell zone. Oh, I want to see another signal like this one. I'll grab it with both hands. Hopefully it's in the bullish direction, too. That'd be nice, too. If you dip down lower, you see something like this. And then that MACD kind of looks like this. Oh, that would be great. That would tell you that 2 hour has a very high probability to cross. That 4 hour, that might pull the 2 hour down too much. You're hoping that's a little tighter. But yeah, GME weekly coming in handy here. Still going up, tagging it. That's where the fight really begins. Yeah, we keep saying that for GME. Bitcoin. Some interesting things here for Bitcoin. If it rejects here, that's probably a sign that it's in an extended pullback. You do have the 2 hour that didn't necessarily have, actually no, the 2 hour did have the reversal signal. That's what we were talking about yesterday. The 2 hour did have a reversal signal here for Bitcoin, saying, yeah, I might react down to that 5, see if I can curl back up into positive territory. That would be great. Make another move higher. Watch out for that triple divergence up here. But that is a good sign. That's what you want to see. You want to see anything that moves up rapidly. You want to see that eventually go back and test that 5, and then that's usually where the opportunity is. The only problem with this is the 4 hour is still dipping down, so there is potential for this to be a head and shoulders, to dip down a little bit lower, and then maybe get by that center line, see that curl up into positive territory. Amazon, this is going to be a big one. 2 hour here for Amazon. You did not get that next push higher on that 30-minute. You are confirming 2 hour divergence to the downside. Amazon was... Okay, let's get back over to this. My gosh, everything is awful today. I swear at everything's going wrong today. For internet attitudes in the house. The dogs, the baby. It's too much today. 2 hour divergence though. Confirmed, playing out. Now you want to see if that daily is rolling over. Is that daily suggesting, oh, this is going to be some kind of massive reversal and people saying, hey, you're a perma bear. Is this some kind of massive reversal? It's not saying that. We're saying that is going to continue, but if this crosses, then you have to be aware that you're most likely in some kind of pullback. Okay, has that crossed yet? No. So what do I need to watch throughout the day? 2 hour. If that can whip back around, that's still positive. So you might just be in some kind of 4 hour pullback at this point. If you can do that without crossing over that daily, hey, this thing can extend for a little bit more time than even if you made the divergence for the daily. So I can really extend this move. Tesla, let's go look at Tesla real quick. Tesla was good. The 4 hour did cross, so you have to be aware, hey, this could be an extended pullback. Still could be. But the 2 hour, look how that is still positive. Do you have reversal signals? No. So Tesla, if that can cross up above these moving average, get back above that 5, you have a very high likelihood to take out the high, go make a new one. We will update those weekly expected moves for Tesla. Very important to have weekly expected moves for Tesla because it has a huge implied volatility every single week. So you can see great moves and then you know exactly where that should come in. Do you know exactly where that was supposed to come in for this week? Well, if you're part of the Patreon, you do know. And it was right here. So this was where that resistance was supposed to come in. Or actually, it was like right here. So right towards the top of these, and what happens? Boom. So now we can see if that's able to cross up into positive territory, that would be a good sign that this is going to test the high, go make a new one. That is the highest probable thing if that MACD does cross up. And we'll give you those updated weekly expected moves on Sunday. NVIDIA trying to catch some buyers here. It is trying actually, no, it's still giving it up. I kind of clicked over on it. I thought it was wicking up. No, that thing is still dropping a little bit. And you do have room down to a weekly expected move. So if you're going to violate that daily, you already have, you could end up at around like 141, which would be a great pullback. But right now, you're still technically moving sideways from the gap up in the past. So if you look over at NVIDIA, if this thing craps out one more time, I swear. You look over at NVIDIA, we gapped up from here. What have you done ever since? Well, we're retesting that level at this point. Still the 2 hours positive. If that thing swings to the upside, you can see a good move. A little bit worrisome for NVIDIA earnings with the reversal signal, but we know that earnings is an overall 50-50 flip. Interesting. There you go. There it is. All right, I'm going to click over on a few others as I flip back over to the SPY. We're just going to leave this on a 30-minute for now, see if we can catch some ground this morning. Okay, so Meta doing a great job reacting down to a very key level. 569.50 is a very, very key level. If you want to go check on that with me real quick, 569.50, a very, very key level in there. And we're seeing us start to wick up back above that. So very important for Meta to hold that today. If it closes below that, a little bit more worrisome. You can always see reactions up, but you potentially could be starting a downtrend. So we'll see. I'm still leaning towards, hey, the 2 hour, right? The 2 hours close enough to that center line. We're still in that bullish trend in the SPY and the Qs. So the likelihood that this is building, and we could see some kind of reaction would be good. We just want to be aware if anything trappy happens, right? If we start to give that up, we don't just get some kind of retest if that does turn up into positive territory, right? If that doesn't produce a retest, that then goes higher, but instead produces a crossing of that MACD and we go back down a little lower, that can be a little bit of a trap there. Let me click over on some other ones, see if anything's adding up. Looks like Google hitting a key level. The key level for Google is about 175. So for Google, 175, very key level in here. Notice where the 2 hour is. It's right by that center line. Notice what we're doing. If we're going to head down, we got that cup. We can create a handle. We can head to the downside. But if this is all some kind of big cup and a big handle, that could produce some positivity. If this 2 hour is able to curl up, it is likely to test the high, go make a new one. The good part about Google is it gave you a setup. It gave you a setup, right? You see the divergences coming into play here all the way across, got really significant and drop. That is what curls down 2 hour charts. Now we're in that 2 hour pullback mode. Do we have 2 hour reversal signals? You do for Google. You do for Google, so be aware if Google turns down on the daily, that could mean we're in a extended pullback here, maybe to go retest something like 169.50. I kind of like this level in here, 169. Good stuff. Let's go check in on our buddy over at IWM, see if this is able to curl up on a 30-minute. Not as of yet. Not just yet. And these things are looking like they can roll over daily, so we got to be aware of that. Just no reversal signals. So we're still leaning towards those 2 hours curling up. They don't have to. Where is that? I'm going to reorganize. And it can head lower. I wonder if we're going to hold these little 5 minutes here. 5 minute turning up would suggest that that 30-minute has a good shot to turn up now because you have the triple divergence. A lot of the time on the 5 minute, you want to see a triple divergence for the 30-minute to turn up. You want to see 15-minute divergence for the 30-minute to turn up. You kind of would have a rejection one here. Very deep though, so not the best sign there. We'll look at the 5 minute. I think that'll give us a hint if this is going to end back in its zone. Then we'll watch out for that topside daily expected move. So I'll keep an eye on that on my other charts. You notice that we're really trying to hold that weekly. Very important. Very important. All right, what are you guys up to? Palantir up 7%. That is the surprising one. That is great. But also, if we really wanted to think about it, we're like, okay, cool. What's going on here? Well, if we look at this 2 hours saying, hey, I'm in a pullback, this can extend higher now. What do we get? We get a massive move. Where do we gravitate to? We go to that 5-day moving average. We get a reaction. All good stuff. Hourly chart coming into play here. If that can turn up, hey, we could see a solid move. If we reject from here, that won't be a good sign, right? We do have some reversal signals in here. You see all those, okay? So if that rejects here, that's not good. If that curls up for a moment, curls back down, not good. You want that to be strong, consolidate, strong. This is way outside of some moves right now, Palantir. Very worried about Palantir, though. Oh, it's joining the QQQ. Nice. We'll see what happens with it. 30-minute getting another curl up, that's the one. If that rolls back down, that's not a good sign. But right now, you kind of like, you're like this. I have all these divergences and I just curled up on a 30-minute. What do you think happens when you're going to violate those divergences? Well, a 30-minute curls up, so be very cautious with thinking this has to fall down right now. If it's going to fall down, it's going to cross back down on that MACD. It's going to cross back down right by that center line. And then you're probably in a little bit more of a 2 hour pullback to get to that center line. I mean, you could keep moving sideways, that'd be fine. NVIDIA starting to wake up from the daily expected move. Great wick up so far. IWM not. SPY is not just yet. It's still just hovering there, really trying to hold that point. Qs are deep too. But Qs are going down into retest that high. Yeah, I think we're more likely to see the 2 hour move higher. New all-time highs in both. Maybe go to the top of our channel here, see what happens from there. Maybe that starts to form. Good stuff, good stuff. Ugh. So not only can you use these weekly expected moves with divergence, but you can use these just to find out, hey, are we going to see the swing trade set up? And this would be an area to look for it. If the trend is going to continue, well, it might test a weekly expected move and then continue. If it's not, then you're going to see dailies start to roll over if we're in a bigger pullback. Yeah, TLT still reacting to the data. TLT, very key here, still reacting down, right? Still reacting down, now creating another point here. It's figuring it out. It really is, but a big move is coming for TLT. A big move is coming for TLT, I think. I mean, in one of these directions, you've built so much in here. You've sat in here for so long. You're starting to open things up. Now you're getting tight in this move. Is that going to be a big upward move? Is it going to be down? Well, that 2 hour has to cross. If that 2 hour crosses, I get a little bit more reasons behind a trade. I get a few more reasons behind a trade now, right? I got beat up by it here, saw a good move, took some profit there. Now I'm just chilling. I think we could see that difference between the dollar. The thing that's weird about the dollar, which it is kind of just moving sideways to that 5, the weird thing with the dollar is it's moving up with the market. So it's positively correlated with the market. But what are you noticing today? Are we positively correlated with the market today? No, we're kind of getting rid of that. We're kind of seeing it flip a little bit, where the dollar is flat while the market would be relatively, you say, hey, since yesterday, let's just say since yesterday, the close yesterday, where are we? Well, we're dropping off while the dollar is still holding firm here, still holding its 5. So that's something I want to read into. Are we going to see this flip back into a negative correlation right here? That's something I'll work out over the weekend. Reinflation is negative for TLT. It is. And you could probably see reinflation until we see, like, if they really do cut government jobs like crazy, that might be what causes unemployment to go up, and we actually see something bad in January of 2025. Am I not understanding correctly, Mark? My macro view is this can be bad, but I think we'll still get some kind of Santa rally if we get a correction soon. My macro view is, look where the monthly is. I would like us to pull down for a couple of weeks, even if that means, hey, we react up next week early on, and then we start to pull down, and then mid-December we can actually make another move higher. And I'm leaning towards January. That could be a little bit risky, but I'm not necessarily in the thinking that this has to crash down. We got rid of the crash signal, so we have to reform those. DJT on the move. We can check on DJT actually, because that one was forming something on the 2 hour. DJT, this is when you really want to pay attention to things like DJT. DJT is giving great reversal signals here. You can get those weekly, oh wait, we don't have weeklies for DJT, but you can make those if you take the course for it. Very simple way to make them. But you can see here, if that 2 hour would produce up, if that goes like this, we can see a move. So is DJT going to move? Is AMC and GME going to move all at the same time? We'll see. Right now, AMC and GME pulling down, but DJT saying, hey, I'm trying to base out. Has it based out yet fully? No. Well, I think you might get a lot of profit taking can happen in there. It could be a rebalancing thing, but I more want to just read into the signals. I'm not seeing any reversal signals that say, hey, the macro sale is going to drop like crazy, right? Maybe we get that corrective move now, right? Maybe we get some kind of corrective move now. That's like a 5 to 10% corrective move. That'd be 3. We come down into here. Maybe we go all the way down into our gray zone down here. People get real bearish and then we end up going higher. That all can happen. I'm just not seeing the signals that say that is going to happen right now. Scale to 1 to 10, how bearish am I? Not really until 2025. I'm looking for that overall pullback. So bearish, I think I'll give it like a 3, maybe a 4, because we're seeing this drop. And if it did make Nvidia curl down on a daily, that would be bad. But you know, Nvidia could have the chance to save itself today. NVIDIA is just a big stock, so I want to pay attention anytime that curls down. But bearish is a hard statement because it's like, am I taking bear trades right now? Like, am I taking puts? No. Am I taking volatility? No. I want to see those signals at the same time. If I miss out on something that crazy that happens, that's fine. I didn't see the signals for it. I think they're trying to get people to go to the put side because people had a lot of calls up in here, and then they're like, okay, let's send people to the put side, and then we're just going to see a simple 2-hour pull up. And then once we get to here, that's when we can maybe talk about that corrective move, and then later on in December, we might see that Santa rally. Apple, big move down, right? Curls down on a 30-minute, not a good sign. Or I'm sorry, 2-hour. 2-hour, not a good sign. Maybe we need to go make a little something here. Maybe we need to really get back into this zone to find some buyers. Yeah, Amazon's the one that's saying it though. So Amazon is giving us a hint saying, hey, 2 hours curling here, that can curl over a daily chart. But is this a major reversal? This is more just saying, hey, we might get, Amazon is more saying we might get the corrective move right now. That's what Amazon is saying, in my opinion. Right, Nazim? But great signal. We tried to keep that same structure to actually head higher on that 30-minute. Didn't happen, so the 2-hour divergence proving a little bit here. That daily can now cross if it can. We still want to see if that 2-hour can whip back up. Very good, though. Nice, Nazim. Congratulations. So that's what Amazon is saying, though. Amazon actually has the signal to say, hey, we're going to get that corrective move now. Then we could turn up later on. It does not have macro reversal signals there. Based on my board sheets. Well, based on maybe, the consumer might continue to buy stuff from Amazon, right? Amazon does well as long as people are willing to continue to put stuff on credit cards and things like that. So, but Amazon is leaning more towards that. If it's going to make another push higher, you're just going to see this 2-hour be able to whip back up. This could just be some kind of pull down to grab some buyers. We could make structure before heading down. We'll see. But you're not seeing this on tons of charts, right? You're not seeing this on tons of charts. If you're seeing this on like 5 different charts, we would really start to talk about it, right? We'd be talking differently. If you were seeing this on the SPY, yeah, we'd be talking about it. Are you seeing it on the SPY? No, you're not. So you always have that opportunity to either this could be a cup and handle, or this could just be some kind of push down. Maybe we push down into the gray zone and then we just turn up into positive territory and people are taken off guard. People are taken off guard and then that goes back up. And then this is the real timing for that corrective move. But Amazon is one that's saying, hey, it's might happen right now, but you want to see that on multiple charts, and we just don't see that. You don't see it on Tesla. You don't see it really on NVIDIA. You don't see it on AMD's. More like if I wake up today and I cross up on this, I could reverse for a bit of time. You're not, I mean, Meta is one that you want to pay attention to the daily scale. Microsoft is showing some forms up here of divergence, so that is another one. Google showing it. So you do have like 3, and they're pretty big stocks, so you could get that corrective move now, but usually you will see it in the indices. SMH, shaking my head, man, shaking my head. This is going to be very dependent on NVIDIA. Now you're in a rough spot with SMH because you have things like SMCI, you have things like AMD that are just dropping pretty dramatically. But if this can curl up, that would be good. I'd really pay attention to NVIDIA and probably watch out for that NVIDIA earnings, right? You came up to this level, you weren't able to hold up, you're really dropping here. So we want to look at the daily scale. That's crossing down. That could be a double top. So you want to treat this with a lot of care and say, if this is rolling over a weekly chart, then I have to be careful. And that weekly chart's actually rejecting. So doesn't have to. This could still, like, look at this. You're still going sideways. You're still in this little channel. Okay, so you really want to see, is that going to break up? Is that going to break down? Right? That would give you more of a hint. Less about the signals, more about the price action. It's still in that same area. If you start to break down, okay, then that's going to break down. Let's look at the monthly here for this. Yeah, if that monthly crosses, you want to watch out. A lot of wicks coming in for that monthly. All right, SPY, really interesting stuff here. What's that doing to people? Are people getting bearish? Yeah, people starting to get a little bearish now. IWM not holding those little 5 minutes, reacting down to a daily expected move actually soon. So we'll see what happens with that. One we want to pay attention to is just the 2 hour. Can that 2 hour wick back up? That's something we'll watch. Does volatility have reversal signals? Well, volatility was telling you it is there. So that tells us there is some inclination here that we could get the corrective move. The good part if we get the corrective move is a lot of the time the SPY will make some kind of 30-minute or 2 hour divergence, and maybe we make that as we fill a gap up here. And that'll be good to see it on volatility and the SPY at the same time. I'm still looking for the signals at the same time to call like, hey, this can be more of a, well, if we get the correction right now and we actually head higher, then we'd be looking for something bad maybe into January. But yeah, SMH, a little wonky in there. More just want to see if it can break that little area it's been in. Oh yeah, Dawson said Uber a couple times. Let's go check on Uber. We've looked at this a few times. Way in the past. When did we look at Uber? Must have been a while ago. Uber trying to base out here. You can really see that. Now, is this divergence? Well, not necessarily, but we do talk about how this is still important, right? A higher low is still important. You don't need divergence every single time to say, hey, this is now confirming above everything that you need to in order for this to head in the upward direction. So this tells me the daily scale does have an opportunity to turn up here. And look at that, you're getting the daily swing trades start to give that signal on one indication being the price action. The RSI has not crossed the center line yet. The MACD has not crossed, so you only have one real reason for the swing here. What's up, Orchid? How you doing? Yeah, the daily scale, though, saying, hey, I can produce a bounce here. Actually, it's more the 2 hours saying, hey, this could be a higher low. If the daily can show a little bit more positivity, then that might cross this MACD, cross up this, and you might see a good move here. Maybe to go fill that gap up towards 79, 79.50. But SPY not getting any love just yet. 2 hours still positive. No reversal signals on the shorter time frames, like the really short ones. Monday, you think goes below the 20 DMA for what? For the SPY? Yeah, Dawson, hopefully that was a little bit helpful there. It's good to pay attention to the... You think it'll go below it? Well, if we're going below it, then we're going to get that corrective move probably. Right, if we close below it and we don't see reversals in this zone, that's going to be important, right? This is almost like our zone in the past. What do we see in that zone? A reversal signal. So we want to see a reversal signal in here as well to say that's going to go back up. And maybe that's all the pullback you get, and maybe you get some kind of Santa rally. But there is the opportunity that this could be a bigger corrective move, get down into a different buy zone, and then produce some kind of pop. So if we lose that 20, I think there's some probabilities there. I think there's some pretty good chances there to end up down towards this zone. We'll still just pay attention to the signals though. Right now you just have a 2 hour pulling back. You don't have big reversal signals, so I'm gonna stay aware of that all day. This is something crazy, but you have a 68% chance to do this. You have a 68% chance to do this and this. Get back in that red line. Anyway, you think the dollar's top of pullback will be positive for commodities like oil and materials? Ooh, that could be good. Yeah, let's go look over at oil real quick. Something for oil, the 4 hour here, trying to really hold up at this level. See, trying to hold up, kind of giving you flagginess, right? Kind of giving you flagginess, trying to dip down, right? Maybe it cut below it and gave you a 2 hour divergence saying, hey, this daily can start to pop. Look at that 2 hour. If that 2 hour can produce some positivity, ooh, we could see this thing reverse around for a little bit of time. Let's go look at USO. USO, no real reversal signals in here for USO. And really got to watch out if this thing starts to fall. Really got to watch out because you do have some interesting things going on here. You'd more so say it was like here maybe. But if this is just slanted in some way and this was just a blip, well, look at that left head, right shoulder. So be a little cautious, but you can see some kind of bounce with those signals, and maybe that dollar coming down does give it a little help. SPY now down 1% for the day, below a weekly, below a daily. Let me go check on my other charts real quick. Yeah, so this is mainly a reaction to Jerome Powell yesterday. And the big thing that I saw highlighted everywhere in the news was, hey, he says there's no reason to, reason to escalate the cutting of rates. So people didn't like that. Obviously, TLT is not going to like that. HIM's got positive news but went down. Let's check on that real quick. We have some time. You just don't have very good reversals in here. So what this is overall saying, and the most likely thing to happen is, yes, there could be a bounce coming. Yeah, that can always just reverse back around. But the more likely thing is you need to make a good basing out signal here. So you could see that react up or flag out or move sideways in some way, and then see that produce another block down. And then you actually see that taper off, right? You're just going straight down. So you probably need to taper off before you can head in that upward direction. So that would look like this more on your MACD, right? Hopefully that sets up real smooth too. When it's nice and smooth, looks like an easy play. That's when I kind of like it. Yeah, well, the Fed was pricing in that he wasn't going to lower rates, right? Or the Fed, sorry, TLT, the bond traders were pricing in like, yeah, he can't lower rates, right? They think Trump's going to. Or I close the log, it keeps going up and up. Jonathan, we can maybe, you know, I always try to, it's just with everything that goes on. With everything that goes on, I mean, I guess that could be a way that I could maybe become a, you know, more, have this as more of a, I guess, full-time thing throughout the week, but I do just have too much going on for the most part to do one-on-ones, but I'll try to get one-on-ones out there. Maybe in 2025 I can work on that. Just to talk about those little things, because just talking about those little things can really help. You know what I mean? Those little things, like, am I seeing a reversal signal that can convince it? Am I hitting a weekly range? Am I hitting a daily range? Am I hitting this? Am I hitting that? That's what can really help. But sometimes it's like you're still making a good decision. You know what I mean, Jonathan? Sometimes it means you're still making a good decision to get out. Like say this, if you were short on the SPY up at these levels, where's a great place to get out today? Well, right in here. It still is a good decision. It's just you're seeing more of that pull down. It's still a good decision. GME, is it going up? Let's go check on GME. GME, you need this to turn back up on that 30-minute. We failed again outside of that weekly expected move. We're going to give you the updated weekly expected move on Monday, or on Sunday, sorry, Sunday night. But this here is, it's a great sign. This puts it under definitely a ton of pressure. And notice this isn't falling, right? Usually when you see these rapid moves, let's look at this one. This rapid move up, it falls. This one, it fell and it went right back up. You've never lost the 5. Here, they pushed it below the 5 again, right? Over here, big move up. It's able to hold for a little bit of time, pushes below the 5. Here, you see the big move up, pushes below the 5. Big move up, pushes below the 5. This time, you're holding the 5 the whole time, which is a pretty damn good sign. But as far as it goes for now, you have this MACD that just looks like weakness and momentum is here. So if bad news or fighting of the stock comes in, they can really shoot this thing down with how momentum looks to the upside right now. La vaca, moo. Patience, 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 my friend. Nvidia still dropping down. Let's look at that again. Will it hold? Yeah, that's the thing. We had someone, I think it was Brian coming in saying, hey, yeah, we're going to lose that 20 on the spot. We'll see. You're testing the 20 or about to. Buy you a hot tub so you can make your videos and stuff. You want me to be a hot tub technical analysis streamer? Oh my god. No, I'm good. My wife would love that hot tub though. Yes, Nvidia outside that daily. You have a lot of things outside those dailies. So is this reaction justified? If so, then we can close outside of those, 32% chance to do that. And if those dailies are crossing, that would suggest we have more of a pullback to do. There's just not a lot of reversal signals. You got like a couple. I would say Google and Amazon show those reversal signals real well. But it's kind of like, Tesla, if this can just curl up on a 2-hour, that'd be a good thing. SPY, if that can curl up on a 2-hour after retesting something, right, on the daily, you see that heading down towards the 20, maybe that's where it wants to bounce from. Maybe it bounces here and the 20 catches up tomorrow to that bar, right? We see that go bloop, but we'll just see, right? Not in anything to the downside, not in anything to the upside, waiting on to see if we get a reaction somewhere with a reversal signal. Well, so it's not historically, isn't it? There's a great reaction, and then you kind of do that sideways or downward, right? You get that corrective move, and then you end up going up later on, right? Usually it's at least a 2 push higher. I think I'm correct on that. I believe it's usually a 2 push higher, and that can be a corrective move or consolidative move to head higher. But you could go sideways for a while. You could go sideways or correct for a little while after an election, especially if you get that upward move. Ugh. Yeah, probably around. That's kind of why I'm leaning towards December, like mid-December. We just see something good. No, Maurice, I did not have good reversal signals. I really thought about it, and some people did take it, right? That's great to see some people in the chat taking these things. It's great because it means you're confident. It means you're looking at the right things. It means you're managing risk. All of that's great. This is the one I thought about, but it would have been a quick play because I still think we're going to make that 2-hour push higher. So I more was like, hey, let me just sit, relax, focus on streaming a little bit, and then look for where that 2 hour is going to turn back up in the indices. I don't see reversal signals in the indices. I only see it for volatility, Amazon, and I think it was Google. So Google and Amazon were the two I was thinking about. If it's not a trap, see, the thing is that's still a liquidity zone. So you would say this, and that's not bad thinking. You're buying calls at 585. That would be, I mean, that's the start of this zone pretty much. So that's good. Now, the thing is, a lot of people, would say this, and this isn't incorrect, A big gap up, you can really just cut through that like butter, right? People say that a lot. You can cut through that gap like butter, especially a big one like this. But you have to understand there's good liquidity in that zone. And the 2 hour does not have reversal signals, right? So if that doesn't have good reversal signals and we have major liquidity in there, I need to be aware if I'm seeing a little 30-minute signal in here or something like that to actually head higher on this 2 hour, because I don't see the reversal signals that say, hey, we're going to get that corrective move, right? So barring people just see this news, right? Maybe that news is bad enough to give you that correction right now, but just so you're aware, you're getting a big downward drop and there is some good liquidity in here. Thoughts on housing? Well, we got to go check on the housing sector. That's going to be big. You got to check on the housing sector. Notice this with the housing sector. At the end of October, 2 hour divergence. So that means, hey, that daily scale can turn up. Hey, we got a little excited, didn't we? We got a little excited. We probably wanted to make that cup and handle right here. We tried to make it early. We bursted through. Now you might be making it here. Does this 2 hour have a good shot to turn up? I like to look at the housing sector for this. You'll notice if that 30-minute did turn up, where is it? Well, it's bottling up. And it can see a big move in either direction. Right now, that direction would be down, but if that goes positive, it's a good sign that that's going to retake the 5 and actually head the upward direction. Now, why would we be saying that? Well, because if that daily would turn back up, that would be a good thing. Now, there's some stuff you have to wait for here. You really have to wait and see if that 30 minutes turning up, and then you have to wait and be like, okay, awesome, I'm going to take a play, but I need to manage risk. I don't see big trouble in the housing sector until we see what's actually implemented by this administration early on in 2025. That's what I'm paying attention to. If they are going to cut a ton of jobs, remember all that jobs data they don't want to get weak? Well, we know that 80% of the jobs being produced, maybe more than that, were government jobs. And they've already come out. If you just look on YouTube and see them talk about these jobs that were created, they're calling them useless. And Elon Musk was someone that went into Twitter, and I think he fired 90% of the people. So it's like, that can really cause unemployment. That would be bad, right? That means these people might really have to start getting out of their homes and things like that, right? That can cause some disruption. Unemployment can cause people to miss housing payments. And so that's what we'll pay attention to. But do I think that the housing market is dead by any means? Well, we want to look at the weekly. That does not look pretty. It doesn't look pretty. So that's why you really want to be aware if things are turning up or turning down. The housing sector does not look good. The housing sector held the downward momentum, the negative momentum here, or the negative divergence. So that's a big deal. And if we zoom out to a monthly, but has that crossed? Not necessarily. You have divergence all across it. Is the monthly crossing? Not yet. Now, I think when that crosses, you do have the potential to correct seriously, pretty seriously in the housing sector. That might go all the way down like 20%. But just notice, it's more what you need to see here is, hey, this could be consolidation. This could be corrective to head higher in markets, which means housing could head higher, right? And the other part is you have to see what this administration does. And then you have to say, okay, what's going to be the reaction to that? Ooh, potential double bottom. God, you know what I like to see, baby. Let's go, dude. Potential double bottom. Ooh, not the best look here on the 2 hour, weirdly enough. And the only reason I'm going to say that is because look how down it is. You have held the tapering. If you really look at this, you've really held this tapering pretty well, right? You're just seeing that kind of taper down. So you could head lower for sure. But if you're tapering again, that's awesome. These are the right things to pay attention to, I think. I don't think you're wrong for paying attention to it. I just want you to notice that 2 hours is still far away from the center line, right? When you're going to get a bigger bounce, and I guess that was in a similar area, but you notice the divergence, triple divergence here for the 2 hour, that confirmed the daily up. So I think that's more what you're looking for from Celsius, is just, is the daily going to confirm up? And you see, where's that daily? Really close to the center line. So I can be patient with this, and I can say, okay, is the daily going to curl up? If it does, it could see a good reaction, or maybe be a good investment for some time. Look at a weekly. That thing's not crossed up. So yeah, I think this is an, ooh, you're starting to lose these levels too. I don't think you want to lose those levels because you can head lower, right? You can head down into here or even down lower into this liquidity. So you really want to be patient and wait for those bigger signals when you're seeing drops like this. Because if I just pull up a 2 hour, you're going to zoom out on this and just see, oh, that's heading down and down and down and down. Okay, so spread things out daily. All right, am I seeing the daily turn up and go positive? Well, if I saw the daily turn up and go positive, where was the last time that it was positive? Well, it was right around here, towards the end of May. Towards the end of May, what was happening? Hey, we were making a double top on the upside. There's a divergence there. So this would be all negative. All of this is negative. So that going positive would be something different. Maybe you get a reaction to the 200. Maybe you get a solid reaction to go retest something like 49.50. And that would be a solid reaction, but I'm not thinking that would be a good option play. It's just moving down too aggressively. Just like the SPY right now. Now, is the SPY hitting that 20? Oh, almost. What does GME look like? GME starting to head down again. So the one thing I want to be aware of is the 2 hour crossing today, right? The first one, this one here at the end of the day, that can be a blip because there's not a full 2 hours in this bar and you didn't lose the 9. Just like what we talked about when the weekly crossed over for the SPY. That could be a blip because it didn't cross through that 9. So you want to see that crossing the 9, crossing the 5, then you can be in that pullback mode. Doesn't mean it's over, right? This is extremely positive. You do not have major reversal signals. You just have the divergence on the RSI, which can lead to a pullback, and then see if that curls up. The level that I really, really like is right in here towards that 23. Like $23 would be great if you can see a good pullback in this, like a big one, because this is a big move. So if you get a big pullback, if they really fight the stock, hey, that's not going to be a good sign for upside, right? And the 30 minute's giving you a bunch of divergence here. But the 30 minute is doing this. You have the potential for this to see something crazy. You know, when crazy things happen, you close at that move, and then maybe you see that upward move later on. You have a bunch of divergence here, very flat, still positive. So you gotta see if that's turning down and actually losing these moving averages on the 2 hour. And the 5 on the daily is gonna be important there. AMC, still curling down, not able to confirm the 30 minute back up. That's gonna be key because the 2 hour can roll here. So now that the 2 hour is rolling, we gotta say, okay, when does GME and AMC have a good chance to see upside? Well, it's when the daily, the 2 hour, and the 30 minute are all curled up at the same time. What did we have down in here? We had the daily curled up, we had the 30 minute curled down, the 2 hour curled down. Then the 30 minute curled up, then the 2 hour curled up, and look what happened. When you have all three, that's a good sign. Now you're losing the 30 minute, you've already lost the 30 minute, you're losing the 2 hour. If that continues, most likely it would be downside. But just, I mean, it just depends too about the liquidity of the hedge funds as well. This can pop off at any time, but we wanna, I like to wait for good signals and then just hold the stock. Right, I'm waiting for good signals for option plays. I did sell a little bit of my second position for the option in here, 233%, great move, love to see it. And now I can wait, see if that pulls back and add that position back in. Not dead, it's just a 2 hour pullback. If that starts to cross the center line, if we start to cross down on dailies, it can be more extended to the downside. And yeah, it is an OPEX day. I think the options expiration most people are paying attention to is like December 20th. I want to look at the volume for that. Let me go look at the volume for December 20th and see if that's adding up. I did see some people talking about that. There it is. compare it to what we have today. All right, today you have a 3.3 put to call ratio. Producing. Good stuff. Where are we at right now with price? 586. Man, 585 isn't even that big level. A lot of people were calling an absolute crash today. That's crazy. Let's go look at, what was it? I think it was December 20th. Yeah, so to put this in perspective, today, like as of right now, so we're all the way into options expiration right now. For December 20th, you have, oh, no, that's 1120. For December 20th, you have almost the same amount of volume that you have today. So we still have time to build more volume in that move. So I would really, you know, December 20th can be a very pivotal point. Let's see, NVIDIA's starting to see a little green bar for 30-minute, nothing too crazy. IWM trying to put in a major double bottom. IWM really reaching down, and this was the one that was holding up better. So I don't see a double bottom for IWM. You are still, that's crazy. You're still holding it on the RSI actually for the 5-minute, but that looks not pretty. So that means this can continue. Really just want to see if the 2-hour can turn back up, right? Keeping it simple. Keeping it simple. 68% zoned here. We're down at a daily expected move now. See if we can catch some ground from there, curl back up, get above these moving averages, and good to go, right? We don't have major reversal signals for IWM. You don't have it for the SPY. You don't have it for the Qs. You do not have it for DIA, I think even, right? You don't have it for DIA. And notice DIA, the Dow Jones, holding in its weekly expected move for the ETF. Oh, double top, okay. I don't have the reasons yet, visionary trader. I need to see the swing to the upside first. More pay attention to is now we're in liquidity. We're outside of these dramatically. A lot of people going to puts. Dollar dropping off, suggesting maybe that is actually seeing some buying. But yeah. As far as calls for TQQQ, you need to see the swing signal start to add up. You at least need the RSI to get back above this center line. You at least need this price action to take this back, and that's a big gap. This is island reversal. Actually, yeah, you can consider this island reversal. Jump up, build liquidity, drop off. Ooh, that's a big deal. Maybe we are going to correct more. I did not EFOMA. I did not. No, I mean, I was aware that we could drop lower, right? That's why we have our zones mapped out. I'm aware that we can drop lower, but I didn't have the best signals. The only ones that really gave you good signals for a position would be AMC and Google, in my opinion. TLT is not going to like the news of Jerome Powell saying like, yeah, we don't feel like we need to cut rates yet. It's building a ton of liquidity, but if he comes out and just says that, it's like, nope. Yeah, I can tell you what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the reversal signals, right? I'm waiting for people to get really excited and think that this market can't drop. Think this market can't drop. To put it in perspective, do you think a lot of people thought today that this market can't drop? Or do you think this drop is happening while people think it can drop? The truth is it's happening while people think it can drop. You have a 3.3 put to call ratio in the options market there. For the day, you do have people going to the put side, so people really saying this market can drop. But for expiration today, you do have a large amount of puts, and that's playing out. So if those people hold those throughout the entire day, what if we just wick up? I'm not seeing the reversal signal, so I need to see reversal signals for an actual play, and I want to see it at the same time on volatility. They need to rush the expected news. Yeah, if you get more bad news from here, right? People don't like that news of not cutting rates. But it's like if you get more bad news from here, this is where it can escalate. Have we lost anything to really say like, oh, this is going to absolutely flush? Not necessarily. Still like in our zone. go look at volatility. See, volatility is starting to pop up. So where you want to be aware of the bigger corrective move, if it's going to happen with none of those signals, it can. It's if this daily crosses up. It's if that daily crosses up. If the 2 hour can cross back down, ooh, that wouldn't be pretty, right? That would mean, hey, we're heading down. Right now, you have a move from volatility. You don't have any divergence behind it saying it's going to reverse back around. So maybe we need to make a divergence on volatility and a divergence on the SPY at the same time. And we'll notify you about that. Uranium's up 7%. Very good. All right, let me see here. Fix this. In order for us to head up, I'd like us to base out in some way here. I mean, the thing is, this could V-shape. Once you go into liquidity, this could V-shape. But if I'm going to see a signal for the upside before that too, that's why I'm talking about a 2 hour curling up. I'm looking for this to cross. I'm looking for this to get above that center line here, that line there in the middle, that 50 line. So what I'm looking for is this to cross, this to get above the center line, and this to get above these moving averages. That's all I'm looking for. If I'm going to get a signal for that to happen, well, then I might see a bounce and then see us reach into that zone and then see this, just like here. So you're looking for this. You're looking for this. If you can find this, high probability to bounce up. Now, in this case, we had major macro signals rolling over. So this was very likely to reject from this area. So what is it key for them to do in order for this to keep it going up? Don't let it hit the sell area. Let the buying come in, skip it. Now we head up, retest that area. Maybe we head up one more time, right? I don't see reversal signals just yet on those shorter time frames. The way that we know if this is going to head lower is if we start to curl over on weekly charts. Why do I use the 2 hour? It's just something that I noticed that I really, really liked. I played around with many different time frames. I noticed that everyone uses the hourly and hourly triple divergence forms all the time. So I like 2 hour confirmations. It's just something I noticed that 30 minutes like to roll up. 2 hours, I back tested all of it for a long time. Tested it with paper trades, tested it with real money, and it ended up being a great, great thing. Right? Because if I had an hourly here, you're going to see just very, very, like a ton of divergences. You're not going to see 3 good ones like this to cause that. 2 hour here. Very good. 2 hour flat here. Divergence got more significant on the RSI. Very good. I can always flip back to an hourly as well. A reversal from what is happening right now. And I'll try to be more clear about that. Because I know people are probably thinking I'm talking maybe macro reversal or something like that. I'm talking about what's happening right now to reverse back around. And thank you for making me be more clear. I know that sometimes I'm probably talking code or something. But what I'm looking for are now, I do not see reversals here for that to go like this. I don't see that. That is not on your chart, right? So this would be just kind of a random occurrence. That's why I don't have a position in this. This would not give me it wouldn't be random. It would just be the momentum signals didn't add up. So now, because I believe that is going to form in some way, right? I believe that will form. Well, then I'm looking for reversal signals here for a bullish thing to happen, right? But it's good. Thank you for clarifying. So something I would be open to is this. So I'm looking for this here. That would be great. Use the 2 hour, then would that be the expected time of a move? 4 to 8 weeks? Not necessarily 4 to 8. It's more likely going to be 2 to 6. Usually on 2 hour moves, I will do a month out. So 4 weeks. So I guess you could say 4 to 8 if it's going to continue for 2, like a ABC push higher or something like that. I guess you could say it could take, usually by the end of the 4th week, it is playing out that ABC pattern. but there's always a chance for a 5 push higher, you know what I mean? Just depends on what it looks like. So I like to take a month out with 2-hour divergences. I like to take, depending on it, right? Depending on it. But I like to take a 2-hour divergence a month out. If there's a daily divergence there, I might take 2 months. 30-minute, usually you're going to see that play out pretty quick, but I give myself 2 weeks. And if they're all at the same time, 2 months will be great. Will Bitcoin hit 100K? Let's look at Bitcoin, because this showed us some reversal signals. And the 2-hour is like your 30-minute for the anything that trades like after hours, extended hours, anything like that. If you're going to use that, yeah, get those time frames a little bit bigger. But you'll notice here we had the reversal signal for Bitcoin saying, I'm going to do this. But that could just be a pullback to curl back up to create another one, okay? We want to be aware of that. Is that happening right now? No. So if I was short Bitcoin, let's say I'm shorting Bitcoin right here, well then, am I getting out of that position yet? No, I haven't crossed up, right? I could manage it on an hourly and then take it again if it comes back down just to be safe if I wanted to. But it's like, is this enough to convince me to really sell a long position for a long time? Not necessarily. You have a little 4-hour blip divergence, but you have a lot of room to that center line. So the likelihood that this is just going to move sideways, base out in some way, and turn back up is pretty high. Thank you, Sid. Sid, you just have that cut for copy and pasted. I appreciate that. That's awesome. So yeah, Bitcoin, do I think this is like massive reversal? Do I think it could hit 100K? I think it has a good shot to hit 100K. If we can get this 4-hour really by that center line, and then we get to 100K, that could be a trap. We always have the chance of making triple divergence. That's great insight on the option timing. I don't know which part, but yeah, the timing of your option is great. And like the best part about if you want to get even less risky and you're looking for the swing trade, right? Even if you're looking for just a swing trade, is you look for that timing of, are we by a weekly? Are we outside of a weekly? Do I see a 30-minute divergence outside the weekly? I don't see a 30-minute divergence outside the weekly. That's why I'm like, this could just V-shape. We do have OpEx and things like that, so this could take time, which is more what I would like to see. I would like to see that because that's more the opportunity. That's the safer opportunity. A V-shape would just be, okay, swing trade, maybe we go up to a weekly or a daily expected move next week and I take my profit, right? All things that we go over in the course, guys, 90% off. If you really want to get some good insight into how I think about these things, how I trade these things, how I look at these, and really just learn about weekly ranges, what they are, how they're useful, MACDs, how they're useful. People can tell you what a MACD is. That doesn't help you at all. You know, like telling you what a MACD is doesn't help you at all, but telling you what a MACD is useful for in trading, telling you what divergence is with MACDs, that's all useful stuff, and that's what we talk about. Do I feel the Qs have hit its bottom? That is hard to say. That is hard to say because you have come below some key levels. You have come below some key levels. So this could be more dramatic. This can be. This is a big move. Right? We were saying we need to hold up here. That's not happening. So you're gapping below it pretty dramatically. Is this going to find a bottom? Well, do we have signals that say this is a bottom? Right? Do we have this? And this is very good, right? Because this is the higher low scenario. Do we have this? No, we don't. We might just need more time. But this is great. You're getting deep on this MACD. Okay? So people are going to start to get bearish. Then people are going to go, oh, okay, this is the bottom. Then we might reject and create some divergence or a higher low and then just curl up that 2-hour. So that's what we're going to look for. We do not have, in this case, and I'll try to be more clear about this, right? We do not have the reversal signals from coming down to head up, right? We have a very deep 30-minute. So most likely we are going to have to do something like this. The last time we were down at these levels, what did we have to do? We had to see some kind of tapering off, some kind of reaction, a dip down, and then a lower high set up. The SPY created the divergence. Does that all make sense, Jeffrey? So it can head down further, and if we really wanted to create the zone for where it's heading down into, and the Qs are already in it, I'd probably take the bottom of this wick and probably could head down into, I like that. I think I like that. Now these things, these are just to give you an idea, and then you look for those signals inside it, right? You look for those signals inside it. So now you're in a key zone. Now we can get a reaction up. What do you do when you break through a weekly and a daily expected move? You can use it as resistance. So this would be fantastic. You get this to go like this, start to curl up, react up, get another drop, get deeper into that zone, really grab everything in here, and then you reverse to the upside. That would be the great setup. If it just reverses around randomly and just starts a head up, right? This is heading down. If it reverses back up randomly and you see an hourly, you see a 2-hour cross, right? I think the hourly is pretty negative now. So if you see the 2-hour cross back up, then you have a 2-hour swing trade, and you most likely, if this just does that randomly without creating those 30-minute signals, well, then you can just do this, take back these moving averages as they start to curl back up, and then you'll see price action ride those, take out the high, go make a new one. So you're being patient is the best thing to do right here. And that's why I was really hoping, I was like, oh, make the signal, because then maybe I can take something down, play this zone. But it didn't make the signal, so I didn't take a play with it. Thank you, Jeffrey. Really appreciate that. Check it out. I think it'll really clear up like MACD, how to find these little zones, how to find out, because what we're using, like, you know, I know I just created this zone without really mentioning it, but I wanted to show, look at this. We see resistance. One, you get resistance kind of towards the top, right? You get some support that when you drop below it, you kind of come up pretty quick. You drop below it, you come up pretty quick. You drop below it, reversal signal, you come up pretty quick. Now, why would we mark this off in here? Now, why do we know this area is really important? It's a gap. Okay, so if this was below there, when price action was below there, this area here could have been the liquidity grab to head lower. And that's what we were saying can happen, why this could be some kind of crash move or corrective move right now, back before the election. But after the election, I want you to notice, what do? You gap above all of that. So we know that this is very important, right? The SPY made it more obvious. The SPYs was very obvious. Test at the low, high, 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 bought back up really quickly, middle of the zone, gapped out of it. So we skipped the resistance there. So we know this is important. Then we make the reversal signal, we gap above all of it. So we did not allow us to come into this area to see those sellers step in. Instead, we flipped back to a pretty much positive gamma really, really, really quickly. So if we're not losing this zone, then we should expect to see reversal signals if we can remain in there for some time. Yeah, Doug TV, and that's kind of how I'm treating it. Now, notice the SPY's not at the zone yet. Notice the SPY's not at the zone yet. So what can happen? The Qs are already at it, I believe, right? Yeah, Qs are in it. And we're still waiting. This could be something bad. Like you want to say, you know, drops can happen. Drops can happen. But we want to see if we get the signal to see if is everyone getting bearish and we're going to start to go bullish. And one thing is we don't have to head up because we're above the annual expected move as well. So the way we know we're going to escalate things, dailies have to start rolling, right? Daily has to roll over. SPY, is that rolling over? Not yet. NVIDIA is going to be the big one. If NVIDIA's rolling over, I'd be a little bit worried about early next week, and then anything can really happen with earnings. And earnings is on Wednesday night. So you could experience a 4-day pullback here on the daily scale, that is. And then we'll see what happens with the earnings. Yeah, Sid's just been here a while. And you have OpEx today too, so we'll just see. Now we're just gonna be, it's unfortunate because I really wanted that move higher to make another decision to play this in some way. Probably should have took Amazon or Google. That was my mistake. I probably should have believed a little bit more in Amazon and Google. I just wasn't seeing enough from the indices. Oh, I think that this will turn up on a 2-hour. That's what I think. I think this will turn up on a 2-hour. I'm actually more thinking this could just be a V shape. But if it gives me the good 30-minute divergence, I'll say thank you, because that just gets me in a little bit earlier. Right? Because the 30-minute makes the divergence. Most of the time, the 30-minute divergence will be created before that 2-hour can cross, and boom, to the upside. Now, did I take this? No, because I thought we could get rejected from here. We had massive implied volatility the next day, and we just gapped above it, so I went, damn it. You know what I mean? I went, damn it. Now I wish I took that play, because that would have been crazy good money. But I was paying attention to it. Did I hold volatility on this day? Did I hold volatility here? My volatility calls? No, I actually sold them. 10:50 to 11:30. Macro, we will get some reversal to take out some buy-side liquidity, maybe enter on our hourly FVG to continue lower. And that's where we want to, okay, so something we could pay attention to are these areas if that's going to happen, right? If this 30-minute is going to do something like this, then curl back down, we'll look for reversal. If it's not going to reverse, that could just not create the reversal signal, right? If the reversal signal does not confirm, bad things can happen. Case in point, AMD. Case in point, AMD. Getting rid of the divergences, not showing anything good here now, right? That's why we kept talking confirmation, confirmation, confirmation. It is perfectly fine to wait for confirmation. Because what's going to happen is, if I have a month out and I see the 2-hour go like this, that means that we can go into a positive trend. So if I get in here, is it going to make me so much more money than if I get in right here? Or right here? Or even right here? No, I'll just have to, and then I go, okay, weekly expect to move, I'm out. Keep it simple. You think that hammer's coming? Yeah, I've seen you say that a couple times. You think that hammer's coming? Oh, I wonder. Oh, I wonder. The thing is, one thing is, Tesla's still looking okay. Like, that's what's interesting, is we still have like one stock that looks okay. But volatility now might be up by 10%. That means a green day can happen in the SPY in the next 2 trading sessions, a positive day. 85% chance of that if we close up 10%. Now, does that mean it has to be some kind of great day? No, it just means you could have a consolidative day, but you can have reversal. You don't see 30-minute reversals for volatility. When you start to go, ooh, this could be a very, a bigger pullback than that first gray zone, is if this daily can cross up. And if the SPY can cross down the daily at the same time. Okay, if this is going to be more of a corrective move and come down into this zone, or even this zone, well then that'll show us by crossing on these momentum indicators. It'll be great. But yeah, I think we just got to wait and see. So what I'm going to do is I have to hop off for the day. I'm going to go take Mama to lunch after baby girl wakes up because she's been crazy. We did get the Christmas tree up. We're those people. My wife put the Christmas tree up. I came upstairs. It was all up there. But baby girl, she's just been a little mean to us the last couple of days. So that's why I had to take a day off from YouTube and just update Patreon. So I will try to update Patreon every single time. You guys are, thank you so much for being a part of Patreon. I really do appreciate it. You guys give hard-earned money for that. So I will try to at least give you that 10-minute update. It's just I don't have to edit or make a thumbnail or anything like that. So join the Patreon. Weekly ranges can really help you out. And if you want to learn how to make ranges for any stock that we do look at here, you can get that on Patreon. But if you want to learn how to make those ranges for any stock, just using a simple method, I use my fun account to show you how to do it. If you use Robinhood, that is, or you can use any pretty much platform. You just have to learn how to do it. That's over in the course down in the description, okay? The technical analysis course, the full technical analysis course is fantastic. If you're a beginner, I had my wife literally look at it. I had my wife take the MACD and RSI portions, and she literally was sitting there going, oh, I get it now. I understand what divergence is. And I was like, if she can get it, anyone can get it. So it is something that goes into things a little bit deeper. It explains weekly ranges. It explains why divergence is important. It explains how to utilize the MACD correctly. And that's something that a lot of people don't discuss. They usually just tell you what it is and say if it crosses, it's good. Okay? Cookie money always makes me feel better. Yeah. Need a boy next? Oh, we almost did. I didn't tell you guys. But we almost had a Christmas surprise for you guys, but unfortunate, didn't end up happening. So I do have to hop off. I'm going to take her to lunch or something. I think she deserves a good meal after getting yelled at. But thank you so much for the $4.99, Jackal. Really do appreciate that. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for subscribing, liking, doing all that kind of thing. Those kind of things. I really do appreciate it. Let me go look over. I'll go look at Google and on my other screen real quick. Google is losing levels pretty quickly. Google is below all of the, say, support areas that I would pay attention to for today, and you do not see very good reversal signals. You have a 30-minute divergence that possibly could be forming if that thing wicks up by end of day, but this thing's flushing, so you want to pay attention to that gap fill down towards 171.40 for Google. And then as far as save goes, since it's Friday, we'll talk about it for you. Short Fridays. Spirit, okay, Spirit, rough spot, okay, very rough spot. You had a 2-hour big divergence, okay. I actually want to show this. This is a bad look. This is very rough. The 2-hour divergence here, you can even extend this out and say like 4-hour, 3-hour, whatever you want to do. Very flat, but look how you need to make sure, ooh, that you couldn't even react to that really. So it is before earnings. That is unfortunate. But you should see this and kind of have the blinkers on going, ooh, that's not a good sign. So the 2-hour did cross, I believe. No, it didn't. That's unfortunate. So just a big gap down, and you see how weakness and momentum can cause major moves. Not a good sign. Daily scale cross down. So save, Spirit, not looking pretty for the time being. It's really not. Yeah, the 2-hour in here maybe that led to this, 2-hour up here that led to that. So not a good sign. It is before earnings, 50-50 flip. Is it a good level to maybe invest or something like that? Well, it has never been to this level before, so it would be a risky one. That's all I can say about this one. There are no technicals leading me to believe like, yeah, this thing can bounce and really be a great investment for some time. You want to see if maybe a weekly divergence pops up, some kind of rejection, which you had one, and then that just flushed. So very risky, right? Especially now that it's down to $1 pretty much. Oof, not a good look. That's all I can say about it. I'm sorry about that. Leave you guys on the 30-minute just for a little bit so you can see it a little bit tighter. See if the SPY can get to its zone. The Qs are already in it. So we'll pay attention to that. But thank you guys so much for joining us today. Thank you for liking, subscribing, doing all that good stuff. We will be talking about these things a little bit more tomorrow. If you want to subscribe, we will be going over some stuff on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we will get you those updated weekly expected moves for the SPY. This week, we ended outside of them. But will we go tag one next week? We'll find out. Talk to you guys later. Peace out. It's true, Rapid. That's why you want to wait for confirmations, right? You gotta see those confirmations, because if you try to just guess when this thing, that's exactly what you're doing. You're guessing, you're gambling, right? You need some reasons behind the trade. 3 to 5 reasons is what we discuss in the course. Thank you guys so much for being here. I gotta take off. Peace.